Welcome into your Arkansas football recruiting report. Hayden Herrera here with you on this Sunday, joined as always by Otis Kirk. Otis, it's what we've been waiting for several weeks, months. The portal is finally open, and boy, it has
Yes.
been wild, rowdy, fast, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. And Ryan Silverfield and his staff have been busy. And as we come
Yeah.
to you on this Sunday, we have so far three players we want to talk about that have made their intentions known that they're coming to Arkansas. And I guess we can start
Right.
with somebody on the secondary, a place that Arkansas is going to need to reload for sure for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Christian Harrison is a his dad is Rodney Harrison, the great safety, played in NFL. Christian's had 577. He started at Tennessee and then went to Cincinnati, following Coach Hicks down here to Arkansas. But he has had 577 snaps in college and allowed one touchdown. That's pretty good. That's
Absolutely.
according to Pro Football Focus. He's had 577 snaps, allowed one touchdown. I mean, Arkansas will take that after last year with a smile on their face.
Yeah, and you would
He's
think
6 foot, 6'1", I'm sorry, 180 pounds. Like I said, he had started at Tennessee, then went to Cincinnati last year. And then Coach Hicks came from Cincinnati. Hicks, way I understand, coached cornerbacks at Cincinnati, but he was familiar with this kid playing safety, and brought him down here. But yeah, it should be a nice pickup for Arkansas, and they need that. They need a lot more, just like him. But that was a very good pickup this morning. So yeah, they're starting to rebuild the secondary. They've really brought a lot of defensive backs and defensive linemen in, and they got some linebackers. They're really hitting offense. I mean, I'm sorry, defense really hard. Now they've had some offensive players, but and we'll talk about them as time goes on here. But they're really concentrating hard on defense and special teams too.
yeah, absolutely. And with a player like Harrison, you would think they're not bringing him in unless they feel like he can provide something immediately for this staff.
Oh yeah, no, I think they're counting on him being one of the bell cows back there in that back end of that secondary. I mean, he's got 1 year left, and he's not fooling around. He started where he's been, and he had like 66 tackles, 40 solos, an interception, 7 pass breakups at Cincinnati. So he played well there. Didn't stay, but he played well there, and Arkansas is going to get the best of him, I think, here at Arkansas if he can just stay healthy. That's the key. And he hadn't been injured, but I'm just saying that's a key with anybody to keep them healthy, because if they're hurt, they can't help you. But if he stays healthy, he should have a really good year here at Arkansas. And like I said, that's a position of need.
No, absolutely, and maybe we'll see Rodney Harrison on the sideline cheering on his son
Yeah.
in Fayetteville next season. That'd be kind of cool. Also, some special teams commitments to take note of. One that I think is surprising to a lot. They've got another kicker that they're bringing in.
Well, it's a kickoff specialist, more or less. Remember, the punter kicked off for him last year. Starsick didn't kick off. So this kid's really more taking the other player's place than he is Stars. He's not taking Starsick's. But yeah, I mean, he had in college, 3 years at Georgia State, he's had 135 kickoffs, 97 went for touchbacks. This season alone, he had 43 kickoffs, 36 went for touchbacks. So he's a kid that pretty much starts them at the 25-yard line automatically, and that's worth a lot right there, because Arkansas used to give up kick returns for touchdowns and stuff. And if you can put that ball out of the end zone or in the end zone, you've got a good chance of making them have to go 75 yards there, which is a lot harder to do than a kickoff or getting good field position off of a kickoff. But yeah, he's a nice pickup. I mean, and he did have 2 field goals. He had a 60-yarder against Marshall and a 52-yarder against Vanderbilt. Uh, he was 2 for 7 on field goals, so that's only 2 he hit. So unless it's a long distance, really long distance situation, I don't look for him to kick field goals. But I do think that he will be the kickoff guy, and like I said, that's a very important position.
Yeah, Braden McAllister. Yeah, I think whenever people saw that the stat about his 60-yard field goal, I think that's when people started to think that maybe he
Yeah,
would kind of come in and challenge Starzik. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Starzik had some long field goals in his high school career.
yeah,
What
he
led him?
did.
Yeah,
I don't think he had 160, but I don't remember his long one. But he had definitely had some in the 50s, in the 50s, And he's a lot more consistent. Like I said, 2 out of 7 is not going to get it, but and he's hit every extra point. Scott did, so that's important. And this kid will come in, but I think he's more. The punter was actually the kickoff guy last year, and I think that's where he'll help them more than that. I think if they got the situation and they need a long field goal, they might give him a shot. But I don't know though. I mean, like you said, Starsik's got a pretty good leg himself, so I don't think it'll be necessary. But it's if Starsik were to get hurt, and they need a kicker, then it'd be nice to have a place kicker over there that could run out on the field and do it because he'll probably be traveling. He'll obviously be traveling to the games, and it does give you a backup kicker if in case the guy got hurt on a kickoff or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Depth matters pretty much at every position, especially in the SEC. And then we've got a long snapper, more special teams for Coach Lunsford getting a long snapper into his roster.
Yeah, Adam Johnston, he was a little bit of a surprise to me. I forgot that the long snapper last year was a senior, and they went and got one. And this kid's been at Sacramento State, California State, Sacramento, and he'll come to Arkansas. He started his career at Modesto Junior College, kind of like Ashton did here. Started out as junior college and then came to Arkansas, but yeah, I mean, and some people ask me, is he scholarship? Yeah, he's got, but you don't really appreciate a long snapper till you have some bad snaps. And when the ball goes over the punter's head, you wonder why don't they have somebody better? That's why you give a scholarship to a long snapper. Uh, as a general rule, and this is not an NCAA, I said this earlier on X, somebody thought I meant an NCAA rule. As a general team rule, you like to give at least 4 scholarships to special teams players. You got a kicker, kickoff guy, punter, and long snapper. And you got 105 scholarships. It's not going to hurt you to give 4 for those guys. Because, like I said, you don't appreciate a long snapper. Do you get one that snaps it over the punter's head or bad situation?
Yeah.
And so you need that. And he's someone that can help them. And I'm sorry, I'm yawning today. I've been up since 2, so I'm running on fumes today. But yeah, but anyway, yeah. I mean, he's someone that can really help them, I think, in that sense. And if you don't know his name by the end of the season, that means he did a great job. Because the only long snappers people know their names are the ones that have bad snaps. And as soon as it goes over the punter's head or over the holder for the field goal's head, people say, "Who is that? Who is that snapping?" So if we go through the season in 2026 and no one knows this kid's name, that's good. That's besides his parents and relatives. That's a good sign.
Yes, the unsung heroes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get to some players that Arkansas has got some visits for, I want to ask you about the East Carolina quarterback Hayden Hauser. It looks like there has been some rumors about him possibly coming to Arkansas. It looks like maybe Illinois has won his talents.
Yeah.
I just wondering if you heard anything about that.
Yeah, that's what you get when they get the first visit. Sometimes they don't. I mean, the safety from NEO today committed to Purdue. They took a visit. He was supposed to be here today. That's what you get when you don't get that first visit. Some kids, it doesn't matter. They're going to take other visits. But yeah, Caden Hauser was a kid that beat Memphis last year over there at Coastal Carolina and was someone they really wanted. And he went to Illinois first, and it looks like that's where he's going to end up. And that's unfortunate because that was one they were really kind of counting on. They did have a quarterback in this weekend. I'll talk about him in a minute. But Kate Hauser was somebody that they really, really liked, an experienced guy, could run, throw, more throwing than running, but could run. He's not a nobody's going to mistake him for Taylor Green, but he can run.
Right.
He's a very good passer too. And he didn't turn the ball over much. He only had I believe 6 turnovers last year. I've got his stats somewhere here, but so he had a lot. I thought 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So I mean, he's someone that they can. That if he goes to Illinois, they're getting a good one, and I hate that for him. I hate it because I was hoping he'd come here, because Arkansas needed him, but you've got KJ, and if you get AJ Hill, who was here this weekend, and there's still other there's a million quarterbacks in the portal, so there's still other ones out there. But I do know they really liked Hauser. I know. So that's a little bit of a blow to him if he indeed signs with Illinois, which that's what it looks like. He's like you said, what it looks like what he's going to do. But maybe they can get him on the phone and delay it and get him here to visit. take a chance. But it's not looking good right now. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, it's not looking good. Looks like Brett Bielema and Barry Lonnie Jr. and those guys will get him into Illinois. I don't
Yep, looks like
Champaign or wherever that's at up there.
yeah, yeah. It's a lovely, lovely little town over there, Champaign. If you get a chance to check it out. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up, we'll hear more on transfer portal latest, who has visited and who plans to visit as we get into our first full week of the transfer portal. More with Otis Kirk in a minute. Welcome back to the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Hayden Herrera alongside Otis Kirk. Otis has been up since God knows how long. He's working those transfer portal news, keeping us updated. We very much appreciate it. We're going to let him sleep eventually, maybe after this segment. But Otis, before we let you let your head hit the pillow, let's talk about some visits. Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield's staff, they've been busy this weekend greeting prospective players into Fayetteville. Who are some names that fans might be intrigued of that have been visiting Fayetteville over the past couple of days?
Well, let's talk about Kanye Thompson. We had him on here last week.
Yeah.
Did a great job. Met him and his dad on the visit, and he and his dad, and they're great people. Kanye is someone that obviously we had on here. His flight leaves at 3 today. I think he looks like, I mean, that looks like that's a done deal. I've already got the story written, just waiting for him to text me and say go with it. That's why I was checking my phone while we were talking. I was going to see if that was him, but he wasn't. But I'm just waiting for the word go on that. I've got the story written, but yeah, he's going to be a hog, I think. And that's the way it looked earlier, but I don't think he thinks it's going to stand that way. But he's 6'1" or 6 foot, 168-pound quarterback, and his height is legit. He's a really tall kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I said 6'1", he's 6 foot, but he looked like he might be 6'1" with shoes on. I think that 6 foot might be without shoes. I mean, he's a pretty tall kid. He's built real well. Just super nice, but he knows how to play. 10-1-300 meters, and that's flying. That is absolutely flying. And he taught. I think his dad taught me, but he's never had any speed training. That's what's crazy.
Wow. Yeah,
that's natural ability. He's never had any speed training, so he's 10-1-3 without speed training. And he says if everything goes right and he wants to run track, and I think it would benefit him. Of course, I'm one of those that believes any skill position player, defensive back, wide receiver, running back, if they could work with that speed with the track coaches, I think sprint guys, I think it'd do them great. I would send everybody down there that they would let come if it were me. But no, I mean, but yeah, that was weird. He said he never had any speed training and just run the 10-1-3. And his 100's gotten better every year. That's incredible. So he's someone. 4 Memphis kids were here. You got to think Silverfield's connections. Oh, yeah. They're going to have a pretty good chance at those kids. A.J. Hill, quarterback, 6'4", 215. The highest rated recruit that ever signed with Memphis. Sutton Smith, the running back that scored the late touchdown against Arkansas that left a lot of Arkansas fans upset last year. He may be doing that for the Hogs next year. Sutton Smith, the running back. Malachi Breland, I believe, is Breland or Braylon. I'm sorry, I don't know. But he's an offensive lineman, about 6'5", 340. He worked against Cameron Ball last year in the Memphis game and held his own. And that's saying something. And Jamari Hawkins was our second leading receiver. He was here. He's here this weekend too, but Jamari was their second leading receiver over there behind a kid that was a senior. So he would have been their leading receiver returning, but he's in the portal. And Arkansas's got a great shot at him. I think they've got a great shot at all 4 of those kids. And I don't know, there may be some more from Memphis. Kamari Wilson wasn't included in that group, and that was one that I thought they might be all over, but he may want to go back closer to home, Florida or something. But that was one they really needed.
Looks like I saw your retweet of Malcolm Simmons made the visit, wide receiver from Auburn.
Oh, yeah. And interesting, his agent's dad came with him. We're at college football recruiting. The Harrison kid, Malcolm. Yeah, his agent's dad came with him. Wow. He's from Auburn. I believe he was their second or third leading receiver last year. He's a stud. He's got a lot of visits lined up. He's really good. but Malcolm Simmons, yeah, he is one that they could if they could get him, he'd step in and certainly be in that rotation next year. But that's just I just thought it was odd that his agent's dad was with him, and so it's crazy a world we live in now. But I mean, that may be a good sign for Arkansas. I mean, maybe they come to agreement before he leaves and he's not take the other visits, because a lot of these kids are set to take a lot of visits, and then when they get to school and they get what they want, and and they just take it, and uh,
But
this staff is different.
yeah,
I do know last year, Hayden, the ones they didn't get that didn't sign while they were here, Arkansas, I remember got one of them. One kid out of the portal that did not sign while he's here, and that was the safety Miguel Mitchell that they got, and that was the only one that I remember them getting. It didn't sign while he was here. The rest of those kids all signed while they were here, or year before last. So the last couple of years in the portal. So it's important to get them while they're here, but it doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. But yeah, then they've got two offensive linemen coming from LSU, and Kiffin finally turned loose of Curious Kern's paperwork. So that was kind of had a lot of people upset. Kind of a jerk move, to be honest with you. But Kern got officially in the portal today. Now his visits are all screwed up because he was supposed to be at Georgia this weekend and Arkansas tomorrow and Tuesday. But now I don't know what he's going to do because it just got cleared like 3 hours ago. So those are all in flux. But I do feel comfortable and confident that he will take a visit to Arkansas. It may not be tomorrow, but he will be here. Paul Mabinga is an offensive lineman whose brother Ben signed with Arkansas in December. And Paul was at LSU and 6'5", 318 offensive tackle. Started 5 games, I believe, for him this year. And he'd be a nice get. And that way you have both the Mabingas here. I know that was one of the factors that Ben talked about during the recruiting process when he committed, was his brother was at LSU, so staying close to home wasn't a factor for him. And that's good to know. And but yeah, that's some of the kids that's here,
Kamori House made a visit from
that's the other
North
one I've
Carolina.
got written
Yeah,
down here. He was the leading tackler at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Leading tackler at North Carolina. He is here, 6'2", 210. And, he was a high school teammate of Tay Lockett out in California. Tay Lockett's a safety from Conway. He and House know each other from being teammates back in California. So it's a small world, I guess. But
anything that can help.
Kamari House would be a great get for the staff. I mean, it would be a great get. And so we'll see if they can pull him in. But it's going to be important. And he obviously is leaving later today, I guess, because I haven't seen him, but that's be a great pickup if they could get him. And but yeah, all the kids we mentioned here, Thompson, the 4 Memphis, the receiver, House, those would all be great gets. Those would be great ones. Those would be great gets right there, all of them. So, and I think they'll get their share of that group. Maybe not all. Oh, and then Mabinga and Kern too, the 2 offensive linemen. So if you could get all those kids, you've gone a long way towards starting to shape that class up really good, combined with what you've got, getting the Harrison, the safety. I think that was huge. And then a lot of people don't emphasize, but that kickoff guy, I think, is really big too. And like I said, if the long snapper is as good, and Coach Lunsford has got the reputation of being one of the best, maybe the best special teams coach in the country. If he wanted the kid, he's obviously pretty good.
No, absolutely. All right. Well, before we go, just some more. I know they've got more visits for guys lined up. Javante Barnes looks like he plans to take a visit to Arkansas, Oklahoma running back, and then I believe I saw a lineman that Javen Richardson looks like he's got some visits lined up. So those 2 guys, and then any other guys you want to mention that plan on visiting.
You got a cornerback from Arizona State coming in, a linebacker from Kentucky, defensive lineman from Virginia. So you've got all kinds of kids. There's so many names coming in, and there's just ever flowing, and because it's condensed. Somebody asked me, said, why they got so many kids coming in at one time? Well, it's condensed this year. There's only one portal opening. It's 15 days. You get to get them in now, and like I said, you got to get them in early because some of these kids will commit and not take. We talked about the quarterback. went to Illinois first. Probably not going to visit Arkansas now, maybe, but last I heard, probably not. So that's why you've got to get on them. You can't waste time. And yeah, the ideal situation maybe to be bringing in 4 or 5 kids and pay them a lot more attention, but the situation doesn't dictate that. And so you're up against it, and that's why you're bringing in 10 to 15, 20 kids. May not be the perfect scenario, Hayden, but it's what you've got to do because you want to get them on campus. You want to make sure you get them here, because if you don't get them here, you're not getting them.
No.
You're not going to get everybody that visits. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You won't get everybody that visits, but if you don't get them on campus, that guarantees you won't get them. Getting them on doesn't guarantee you will, but if you don't, it guarantees you won't get them. So,
Right.
I mean, there might have been 1 or 2 in their time commit to Arkansas sight unseen, but that's unusual. And most of the kids that do that have at least been here on unofficial visits. So, but you've got to get them on visit for a campus visit. Take them out and eat. Show them a good time, man. Hit Dixon Street and have a good time and let them enjoy themselves, because and most of these kids, this is a different time for them. High school kids are wide-eyed. They're all anxious about what's going to happen. These guys, it's more of a business decision for these portal guys.
Oh yeah.
I have quite a few tell me that, hey, it's not the all the hype and stuff with the recruiting. This is a business decision because a lot of these kids know this will be their last go. Like Harrison's got 1 year. A lot of these kids just have 1 year left, and so they've got to make it count, and they don't want to make a mistake on where to go. And so that's why it is a business decision, and you've got to get what you want money wise and NIL and all that good stuff. But you also want to go give yourself a chance to play. You'll go where you've got a chance to play, and a lot of people don't like the portal. Here's why I like it. Arkansas doesn't get the 5 stars and the 4 stars. They get some 4 stars. They don't really get the 5 stars out of high school. Whereas those kids go to Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and they sign, and then they don't like it there. Then you got a chance to have them in the portal. So you can get those kids in the portal. And some of them have only played 1 year. They just go there. They're used to being the man on campus, big man on campus, and they're not when they get to those schools. And so you get them, they got a defensive tackle coming in from Southern Cal. It's going to get here, So, I mean, this is just huge to get these kids on campus and see what you can do with them. And you just pencil them in and get them here as quick as you can, I think. I'm not big on waiting and trying to get that last visit because you may not get it. You better feel really good about a kid. If you're going to wait to try to get the last, it's great to get that last visit, but if you're not confident that he will hold off and wait, you better get the early visit because you take your chances there and let it fall where it may.
No, absolutely. A wild time as we started this program with. It's just going to get even wilder these next few days since there's only one. I was listening to Oregon and Indiana's coach Dan Lanning and Kurt Signetti. They're trying to navigate this portal, and they've also got a playoff game to get ready for. So imagine having all that.
That's crazy. That's a shame. That's why I'd like to see it in the spring. The kids might not get to go through spring, but you could move spring ball to the summer because everybody's in summer school anyway.
Yeah,
that would make more sense. I mean, you're in trying to win a national championship. And apparently Oregon's had a lot of defensive backs leave. I heard the same press, and they asked Lanning who's going to be in the second. He said he may play, and if he can't, some of the assistants will. So, yeah, and that's a shame they're having to do that. I mean, it's nice that they're in that game, and there are 4 teams left. They got a chance to be the winner. I think the winner of that game has a great chance of winning the national championship, but it's just a shame they're having to do this and recruit. But that's, like I said, it's a time. Got agents' dads coming with the players. I mean, it's just it's a different time. It's not the old, I grew up following the Razorbacks. I was raised in Arkansas. I want to be a Hog. They see some of that, but boy, and it's the same way Texas, Longhorns. Now Longhorns are hitting the portal. It's crazy, man. It's just, but I think the portal obviously gives Arkansas its best chance of getting good next year.
Yeah.
Or in the future, because I just think you can go get the kids that you can't get out of high school, and you can get them in the portal. And if you do a good job, Signetti didn't get all 5 stars. Believe me, he didn't get all 5 stars. He brought kids from James Madison, recruited a lot of kids that weren't ranked that high. His recruiting class wasn't ranked that high at first. And what does he do? He goes to the turn of the playoffs first year. Now he may win it second year. So that proves you don't have to be hype recruiting service and get those guys. You've got to be, I tell you what, and Harold Horton told me this one time, the key in recruiting is evaluation. if you're a great evaluator, and Signetti is, by all accounts, a great evaluator, that's a lot more important than being a great recruiter, because you can be a great recruiter, go get you a 5-star, and he has no heart, no determination to play, and you get nothing out of him. But if you're a great evaluator, that's huge, man.
No, absolutely. All right, Otis, this has been great. We'll let you get some rest. I know you'll be up and at it all week long until the portal
Yeah.
closes. But we
Oh yeah.
appreciate the time, and we'll see you next Sunday. This has been your Arkansas football recruiting report. We'll see you next time.